Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create proper roughness map for your models. So I had like more or less like just a single roughness map on top of everything, just to make it feel more lively and more interesting. But I'm not going to be using that. So I'm going to kind of do a proper roughness map now. So let's start with this layer we already had at the beginning, roughness. Okay, so we will do something a bit more rougher than this. I'm going to make this feel more rough. So I'm going to drag this all the way here. So I kind of move my camera around, my light around, to see how this affects the model. Just increase that a bit more. Something like this should be fine as a base. Then on top of this, I'm going to, let me just take this in some more, like so. And on top of this, I'm going to create a new, I'll just duplicate this. So for this, I'm going to be, okay, no, let me leave this out. I think I'm going to grab our curvature map. Should I have a curvature map in here? I'll just grab this. I'll do a duplicate for this. Control D to duplicate that. Do duplicate, and then I'll drag this duplicate on top of everything. So this will be like our curvature roughness. So I'll drag this on top of everything. So this will be like curvature roughness. We don't need the color, we don't need normal, we don't need height, we don't need metallic, we only need roughness. So if we should, let me turn off the base roughness off. So if we should hit up, drag this all the way up. So if we should hit C on the keyboard, let's go to the roughness. Is our roughness. If you notice earlier, some of the materials we were kind of using to paint over, especially the freckles, most of them had some roughness information in there. And on our blending under the top tone, the blending layer, this blending tones, that's some roughness in there also. That's some roughness in there. But regardless, that will just kind of give us more interesting look on our roughness map. But regardless, we're going to, so what I like to do when I'm painting roughness is to, so what I like to do when I'm painting painting roughness is this. Okay, first of all, let's go in here. I don't think this, let me see if this is actually doing anything. Okay, yeah, it's actually doing something in here. Okay, what I like to do is to just create a new fill layer, it's underneath, and I'll just turn off everything. I'll just use a full black, almost like grayish material, like so. So this kind of give me a clear idea of how my roughness looks like, instead of having all the colors on top of this. So once you're using this kind of gray material, almost dark material, you get a good sense of how your roughness is affecting your model. So now I can do things properly. I'll start with something like this. Then if I should turn this on, turn this off, so we're having something like this on top of it. On top of everything, we have something like this. So if I should go to the marks, let me select this and go to the marks. We have something like so. Now if I should use a filter on this, okay, I'm supposed to use levels. Let me just plug levels in here and I kind of make some adjustment for this somewhere around here, like so. Should be fine. Hit him on the keyboard. If I turn this off, oh yeah, let me turn all of this off. I think that is contributing to the roughness of the material, so let me turn all of that off and just work only on the roughness. So yeah, something like this. If I should kind of zoom in, you can see how it excludes some parts. Now, it doesn't really matter if you do an inverse for this, but if I should go in here and make this way rougher, let me do something like this. You can see the difference. Let me show you guys. You can see the slight difference now on top of this. So maybe I should invert this, put this like so. You can see how it's making the inner pores more reflective. Let me see if I can find an example in here. There should be an example in here so I can properly show you guys. Okay, so I have an example in here. So I'll just look for a good spot here. The forehead should be fine. If I should zoom into this, you can see how reflective the inner parts of the pores are. You can see how reflective that is. Then on the outer part, I'm just going to adjust this overall roughness. Let me turn off metallic. I'll just do something like so, just to match what we have in here. The inner pores are more reflective compared to the outer pore, compared to the general surface of the skin pore, like the skin pores itself. You can see some reflectivity in there. So with our curvature map, in between those pores, those holes in the pores, we want to have that feeling a bit more reflective, which is exactly what we have in here. Not too obvious, but it's still there. So now on top of this, I'm going to be painting like the T-zone, making the nose, the lips, the forehead, the cheeks a bit more reflective, using this as a reference. So you can see rougher, making this more reflective, the forehead, the nose bridge, and then the chin, and then the cheeks also. I think there was a reference here. This is a reference image for that actually. So something like so. So to achieve that, we'll be creating a new I'll just duplicate this and drag this on top. So I'll just name this roughness T zone. Roughness T zone. So I'm going to make this a bit more reflective. Not completely reflective like this. Probably somewhere around here should be fine. Okay. Yes, around here should be fine. So we're going to add a black marks for that. So adding a black marks for that using this smooth brush. Using a smooth brush, making sure it's on white. We can paint that reflection back in around the corners of the nose. Okay, maybe around here. Take down the brush size and here. Then the cheeks, I think it would be better to have our symmetry on for this, so we can capture the essence of what we're actually painting in. Okay, I'll take down the opacity and then just paint something like this in here. I think we'll do is, okay, let's just paint something for the lips, but we're going to do in an overlay for that also, a different kind of a bit more reflectiveness on the lips on a different layer. Then for the chin, okay, and then for the forehead now, maybe some parts of the ear. Let me just do something around these parts of the ear. I think underneath the jawline, I need more reflectivity in here, around here also. Then for the forehead, if you see on the keyboard, you can see what we have painted. And for the forehead, you do something around here. Yeah, this should be fine. This will work just fine. I'll hit M on the keyboard. Then now I'll just duplicate this, fill this with a black marks, and make this more reflective. Then we'll just paint this only for the lips. I think I'll just give it some height information. You should have some measure of height information in there. I'll take down the brush size and I'll just paint something for the lips. Paint something for the lips. Need the lips to be a bit more reflective, because when you kind of lick your lips, it makes that part more reflective, so I want to try to achieve that as much as possible. Okay, it should work. Let me just name this roughness lips. All right, so now we can, I think we can comfortably bring back every other layer that is underneath it. But I think I need to take off. I think I will need to take off that height information now for the lips. I need to take that off because making the making the lips feel a bit weird. And I'll do a blur for that also. Filter, blur. I think the default value should work just fine. I'm just thinking of taking down the red. Okay, if I should turn this off, you can see it kind of brightens up the skin. So maybe I'll just take this down a notch like so. Okay. So if I should roll my light across this, you can see how reflective some of the nose and the lips and the forehead are. Maybe I should make this a bit more reflective, maybe, just maybe. So we have 0.25 here. And let's try a different light setup. Let's try a different light setup and see how it's just too much in here. So we need to take this back. I think I need to break the surface of that roughness for this T-zone up. I need to break it off. Maybe if I should drag the curvature on top of, maybe even on top of everything. Let's see the results for that. Just to break up that, roughness on top of, just to break up that roughness of the T-zone. Different light setup gives us a separate and different view. Make this a bit rougher. Maybe somewhere around here should be the perfect value for this probably. But let's try different light setup. Let's see how this works on this light setup. In here, the roughness of this under part needs to show a bit. I think here, yeah, this should be fine. This should work for the most part of everything. Maybe I drag this back. Oh, Wrong layer. Okay, yeah, it's back on. It's back on. So I want to kind of make sure this works in different light setup as much as possible. Maybe the lips is too reflective. Let me take this down some more. Okay, yeah, I think I can live with this. Let me use a different light setup. Let's see how this works, and then we'll just call it done. Oh yeah, not done, not done, not done. Under that same T zone, we need to paint the eyelids. The eyelids need to be a bit more reflective. I think for this I need to turn off this symmetry, paint some reflectivity on this. This needs to be reflective. Making sure I'm on the right. Okay, I'm on the right. I'm on the right. I'm on the right layer. I have to make that more reflective because the eyes is usually wet, so that wetness should be seeping on these parts of the eyes. So let me draw this around. Let me see how the marks looks like. Yeah, it's there. We have something there now. Maybe I'll just take down the brush opacity and just paint something light underneath the eyes. Okay, yeah, this will work just fine. So this is fine. So this is how you paint a proper roughness map for your model.